How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, April 25th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Sunday, April 24th, as we navigate through this world of sports one day at a time. I'm also going to preview what's going on today, taking a quick step back and looking at where we are in the last week of the fourth month of the 2022 calendar year. We are still in the first round of the NBA playoffs, as a team has still yet to be eliminated. There are still 16 teams sitting, as the Denver Nuggets were able to avoid elimination last night. Taking a look at what's going on with the NHL, we are in the last week of the NHL regular season. The NHL regular season should end on Friday, and then, of course, the playoffs should either start. I think the playoffs should start at the very beginning of May. Taking a look at what's going on with baseball, the baseball season is just underway, still in its first month. The baseball season is going to end at the very end of the year. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer, we are entering the end of seasons overseas, as some domestic titles have been locked up, and we are still getting ready to see what's going on with international tournaments as we are getting ready to move towards the week. Taking a look at what happened first in the NBA, because yesterday was Sunday, there were 4 NBA playoff games. The first of them was the Eastern Conference, it was the Eastern Conference's 3-6 matchup, as the 6-seed Chicago Bulls hosted the defending NBA champs Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks entered this matchup with a 2-1 series lead after they had won Game 2 by 30 in Chicago. They would win Game 4 in Chicago 119-95. They won this game by 24 after they outscored the Bulls by 12 in the second quarter, and then by an additional 8 in the fourth. They went on to outscore the Bulls in every single quarter of this game. On the losing end of this matchup, the 6-seed Chicago Bulls were led in scoring by their all-star starting shooting guard out of UCLA, Zach LaVine. He finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 13 assists in 42 minutes. He shot 8 for 18 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and he made all 6 of his free throws. The Bulls' all-star starting small forward out of USC, DeMar DeRozan, finished with 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 8 for 20 from the field and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Their starting power forward and second-year player Patrick Williams finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he made all 3 of his free throws. Also in their starting lineup, their starting center and former All-Star Nikola Vucevic finished with 11 points and 10 rebounds in 38 minutes. He shot 5 for 14 from the field. On the winning end of this winning end of this matchup, the defending champs, Milwaukee Bucks, were led in scoring by their elite starting power forward out of Greece, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The 2-time NBA MVP would finish with 32 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 assists alongside 2 blocks in 35 minutes. He shot 11 for 22 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and 9 for 12 from the free throw line. Their shooting guard off the bench out of Duke, Grayson Allen, finished with 27 points and 3 steals in 28 minutes. He shot 10 for 12 from the field, 6 for 7 from 3, and he made his only free throw. The Bucks starting point guard out of UCLA, Drew Holiday, finished with 26 points and 7 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 21 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and he made 1 of his 2 free throws. The Bucks starting center out of Arkansas, Bobby Portis, finished with 14 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 6 for 12 from the field and made 1 of his 3 free throws. With this win, the 3rd-seed Milwaukee Bucks now lead this series 3-1 over the 6th-seed Chicago Bulls. With this win, they are now 1 win away from clinching a spot in the second round of this playoffs, as the next game will be in Milwaukee, as that game is set for the 27th, which is Wednesday. With this loss, the Chicago Bulls are now down 3-1. Because they are facing elimination, in order to make the next round, they would have to win Game 5 in Milwaukee, Game 6 back home in Chicago, and then they'd have to go back to Milwaukee to win that one. But that is the path for both teams to make it. Taking a look at the second team, the second matchup that took place yesterday, the 6th seed in the West, Denver Nuggets, would host the 3-seed Golden State Warriors. As the Warriors were looking to sweep the Nuggets, they came into this matchup with a 3-0 series lead after they had won Game 1 by 16, Game 2 by 20, both those at home, and they would beat the Nuggets by 5 in Denver for Game 3. Game 4 would see the Nuggets beat the Warriors so far for their only win of the series. They won it 126-121. They would win by 5 after they outscored the Warriors by 11 in the first half. On the losing end of this matchup, the 3-seed Warriors were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard. Their goated starting point, or who's came off the bench this game. Stephen Curry, the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made, finished with 33 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals in 37 minutes. Steph shot 10 for 23 from the field, 3 for 11 from 3, and 10 for 14 from the free throw line. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson, finished with 32 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals as he played 31 minutes. He shot 12 for 20 from the field, 7 for 11 from 3, and he shot 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Their all-star starting small forward out of Kansas, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Their all-star starting power forward, Draymond Green, and former defensive player of the year, will go on to finish with 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, no blocks, as he fouled out in 34 minutes. Draymond shot 5 for 6 from the field, and he made all 3 of his 3-pointers on the night. Their starting shooting guard, Jordan Poole, finished with 11 points, 9 assists, and 3 steals in 39 minutes. He shot 3 for 10 from the field and made all 4 of his free throws. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown 6-seed Denver Nuggets were led in scoring by last year's MVP and their elite center who could possibly win back-to-back MVPs, Nikola Jokic. Their elite starting center finished with 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists alongside 7 turnovers in 38 minutes. He shot 14 for 21 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3 as he made all 6 of his free throws. Their starting point guard, Monte Morris, finished with 24 points and 5 assists in 29 minutes. He shot 7 for 11 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. The Nuggets starting power forward out of Arizona, Aaron Gordon, finished with 21 points and 6 rebounds alongside 2 blocks in 35 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field. Off the bench, their point guard, Bones Highland, finished with 15 points and 7 assists in 20 minutes. And also off the bench, their center, DeMarcus Cousins, had 10 points in 10 minutes. With this win, the 6-seed Denver Nuggets have won their first game of the series as they still trail 3-1. Because the Warriors have already won 3 games, the Nuggets would have to win their next 3 games in order to make it to the next round. They cannot lose any of these next games if they want to make it through. On the losing end of this matchup, the Warriors are still leading this series 3-1. Next game will be in Chase Center in San Francisco on Wednesday on TNT, as that should be the prime opportunity for the Warriors to make it to the next round. The winner of this matchup faces off against the winner between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, but this series is still going on. Taking a look at what happened with the 1-8 matchups, the third game of the day happened with the Eastern Conference's 1-8 matchup as the 8-seed Atlanta Hawks hosted the 1-seed Miami Heat. The Heat came into this matchup with a 2-1 series lead after the Hawks won Game 3 by a game-winning floater from Trey. The Heat would win this game 110-86. They won this game by 24 after they outscored the Hawks by 15 in the second quarter, and they would outscore the Hawks by 20 in the second half. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown 8-seed Atlanta Hawks were led in scoring by their starting small forward, DeAndre Hunter. He finished with 24 points in 30 minutes. He shot 9 for 13 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. Their forward off the bench, Kevin Knox II, finished with 12 points in 4 minutes. He shot 4 for 6 from the field as all of his shots came from 3. Their starting power forward out of Wake Forest, John Collins, would finish with 11 points in 22 minutes. And then their elite starting point guard, Trae Young, out of Oklahoma, finished with 9 points, 5 assists, and 5 turnovers in 36 minutes. He shot 3 for 11 from the field, and he shot 3 for 10 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the top seed Miami Heat were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler. He finished with 36 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 12 for 21 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and 11 for 12 from the free throw line. Their starting power forward, PJ Tucker, finished with 14 points and 8 rebounds in 28 minutes. Their starting center, Bam Adebayo, finished with 14 points and 8 rebounds in 30 minutes. Their starting shooting guard, Max Strus, finished with 12 points and 5 rebounds in 36 minutes. Their starting point guard, Gabe Vincent, finished with 11 points in 27 minutes. With this win, the top seed Miami Heat out east are holding a 3-1 series lead over the 8 seed Atlanta Hawks, as Game 5 with these two teams is going to be held in Miami tomorrow, as the Atlanta Hawks are facing elimination. With one more win in the next 5 games, the Heat should be able to punch their ticket into the second round, where they will face off against the winner between the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference and the 5 seed. This will be between the 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. With this loss, the Atlanta Hawks now trail this series 3-1. They, of course, have to win their next 3 games if they feel like they need to make it to the next round, but the Hawks are still fighting. Last but not least, looking at the 1-8 matchup in the West, the 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans hosted the 1 seed Phoenix Suns, and the Suns held a 2-1 series lead entering this game after they beat the Pelicans by 3 in Game 3. Game 4 would see the Pelicans beat the Suns 118-103. They won it by 15 after they outscored the Suns by 17 in the second half to overcome their 2-point deficit at halftime. On the losing end of this matchup, the top seed Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their starting center, DeAndre Ayton, out of Arizona. He finished with 23 points and 8 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 11 for 14 from the field and made one of his 2 free throws. Their center off the bench, JaVale McGee, finished with 14 points in 13 minutes. Their starting small forward, Cameron Johnson, finished with 13 points and 5 rebounds in 32 minutes. Their starting power forward, Jay Crowder, finished with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 29 minutes. Also, their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, would finish with 4 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, and 2 steals in 35 minutes as he shot 2 for 8 from the field. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown 8 seed Pelicans were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward, Brandon Ingram. Ingram finished with 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 11 for 23 from the field, and he would go on to shoot 1 for 5 from 3 and 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, finished with 26 points and 15 rebounds in 33 minutes. He shot 9 for 15 from the field. He made his only 3-pointer, and then he shot 7 for 11 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum, finished with 18 points and 9 rebounds in 36 minutes. He shot 8 for 21 from the field. Their starting small forward, Herbert Jones, finished with 13 points, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 35 minutes. He shot 3 for 7 from the field and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. With this win, the 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans have evened the series at 2. Tied it with the top seed Pelicans, as now it is a best of 3 series. The Game 5 will be played in Phoenix on the 26th, which is tomorrow. That'll be on TNT. And then Game 6 that the Pelicans have forced will be played in New Orleans on the 28th, which should be Thursday. But that's what that series is looking like, and that is what the NBA is looking like, as we are seeing some teams that are that are facing elimination within their next game. But taking a look at what's going on today, the first matchup of the day is going to be the 2-7 matchup at 7 on TNT, as the 7 seed Brooklyn Nets are facing elimination, hosting the 2 seed Boston Celtics. The Celtics are currently leading this series 3-0. They were able to win their very first 2 matchups at home by a combined 8 points, and they went on to win Game 3 in Brooklyn by 6. The Brooklyn Nets would have to win their next 4 games in order to make it to the next round, and the winner of this matchup plays against the winner of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Chicago Bulls. Looking at the second game tonight on NBA TV at 8 o'clock in the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, the 4th seed in the East, the Philadelphia 76ers, are going to host the 5 seed Toronto Raptors. The Sixers lead this series. This is Game 5, of course, of this series. The Sixers lead this series 3-1 after the Raptors were able to win Game 4 and avoid getting swept. They won that game by 8. The Raptors have to win their next 3 games if they want to make it to the next round. The winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between the Heat and the Hawks. And then last but not least, at 9 o'clock on TNT in the American Airlines Center in Dallas, the 5th seed in the West, the Dallas Mavericks, are going to go to Dallas and face off against the 4 seed Dallas Mavericks. This series is now tied at 2, as both teams were able to split games in both Dallas and Utah. Game 5 will be today, of course, and Game 6, which has already been forced, is going to be played in Salt Lake City on Thursday. But that is what the NBA is looking like at the end of today, because the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors are facing elimination, there could be 2 less teams in these playoffs by the end of today. But that is what playoffs are looking like. Taking a look at what is going on with the MLB. Starting off in Detroit, the Tigers would host the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies ended up beating the Tigers 6-2. They scored 5 of their 6 runs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Detroit Tigers were led out by their starting pitcher Tyler Alexander, who picked up his 2nd loss of the season. He allowed 5 earned runs off of 8 hits in 3.2 innings pitched. He struck out 2 batters and walked 1, and with his loss, he's 0-2. In the Tigers batting lineup, their right fielder Robbie Grossman went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Also, their catcher Tucker Barnhart would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. On the winning end of this matchup, the Colorado Rockies were led out by their starting pitcher Chad Kuhl. He allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 2. With this win, he's now 2-0. In the Rockies batting lineup, their right fielder Charlie Blackmon went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their center fielder Randall Grichuk will go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his first home run of the season. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are 10-5. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West as they've now won their last 2 games. They've won 6 of their last 10. They are trailing the division-leading LA Dodgers by a full game at the moment. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 6-9. They are tied with the Chicago White Sox for the 3rd best record in the American League Central. The Tigers specifically have lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are trailing the division-leading Minnesota Twins by a game and a half at the moment. Jumping out to Tampa, the Rays hosted the Boston Red Sox from within their division, the AL East. After the Red Sox scored their lone 2 runs in the first 2 innings, the Rays would take the lead in the 5th off of a 3-run inning. It would be a ground out from Manuel Margot that would give them the lead, and they just ran away with their 9th win of the year. On the losing end of this matchup, the Boston Red Sox were led out by Rich Hill, who would get a no decision. Rich Hill would allow no earned runs off of 4 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out a batter and walk 3 before he was pulled in the 5th, before he was pulled after 4 innings. The loss would go to the Red Sox first relief pitcher Phillips Valdez. He allowed 3 earned runs after he did not allow a hit at all, as he would pick up a walk. He would allow a walk as well. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Red Sox batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as that would be attributed to great pitching from the Rays. The Rays' win would go to their starting pitcher, Shane McClanahan. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. With this win, he's now 1-1 as he struck out 7 batters in that 7-inning span. The save for the Rays would end up going to their closer, Ryan Thompson. Ryan Thompson would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This is his first save of the year. In the Rays batting lineup, their elite left fielder and the reigning American League Rookie of the Year, Randy Arozarena, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their pinch-hitting first baseman, Ji-Man Choi, would go 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are 9-7. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They sit a full game behind the division-leading New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays at the top. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are 7-9. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They sit 3 full games behind the division leaders, the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays for this time being. Jumping out to the nation's capital, the Washington Nationals went on to host the San Francisco Giants. After the Nats scored their 3rd run of the game, and it was close, they were trailing 4-3. The Giants would busted wide open. They would even score at 6 runs in the 9th inning to show that they meant that they were serious. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Washington Nationals would see the loss picked up by their starting pitcher, Joan Adon. Adon would allow 5 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 3 and walk 1 on the day. And with this loss, Adon is 1-3 on the season. In the Nats batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, went 2 for 4. Their catcher, Keibert Ruiz, went 2 for 3 with a run. Their left fielder in this matchup, Yadiel Hernandez, would end up going going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the San Francisco Giants would see the win picked up by their starting pitcher, Logan Webb. He would allow 3 earned runs off of 7 hits as he pitched 6.2 innings. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 1, and with this win, he's now 2-1 on the year. In the Giants batting lineup, their right fielder from their former rivals, Jock Peterson, will go on to finish with he went 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs as the 2-time World Series champ for the Dodgers and the Braves would hit his 4th and 5th home runs of the season yesterday. Their first baseman, Brandon Belt, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their designated hitter, Wilmer Flores, would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. And also, San Francisco's third baseman on the day, Jason Vosler, would go 2 for 5 with a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 11-5. That is the second best record in the National League West. They've won their last 3 games and they've won 7 of their last 10. Their 3-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the National League at the moment. And they are tied with Seattle and the Yankees for the second longest active winning streak in baseball, as the Twins are the only team with a longer winning streak than the Giants right now. And right now, the Giants are sitting half a game behind the division-leading LA Dodgers. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 6-12. That is the worst record in the National League East and the second worst record in the National League. Only the Cincinnati Reds have a better record. The Nats have lost their last 5 games, and since the Reds have won a game, the Nats are now the holders of the longest active losing streak in the MLB. They are sitting 6.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Jumping out to Atlanta, the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves hosted the Miami Marlins. The Marlins will get the best of the Braves, winning it 5-4 after scoring all 5 of their runs in the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings together, as they would also get the first couple runs of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Atlanta Braves were led out by their starting pitcher, Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 6. With this loss, he's now 1-2. In the Braves batting lineup, their third baseman, Austin Riley, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Riley hit his 4th home run of the season for the team. On the winning end of this matchup, the Miami Marlins were led out by their starting pitcher, Jesus Luzardo. He allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 8 batters and walk 4. With this win, Luzardo was 1-1. The save would end up going to the Marlins closer in this matchup, Louis Head. He allowed no earned runs as he finished off the 9th inning, and he would allow a hit. He would strike out both the batters that he needed to get out. That's his first save of the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, their first baseman, Garrett Cooper, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Also for them, their shortstop, Joey Wendell, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then their third baseman, John Barrety, would go 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Miami Marlins are 7-8. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they've now won their last 2 games. They've won 6 of their last 10. They sit 4 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at the moment. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 7-10. That is the third best record in the National League East, as they've lost their last 2 games. They've lost 6 of their last 10. They trailed the division-leading New York Mets by 5 whole games in the division. The defending World Series champs. Jumping out to see what happened in the Bronx, the New York Yankees hosted the Cleveland Guardians. The Yankees would beat the Guardians 10-2 after scoring all 10 of their runs before the Guardians scored their 2 runs in the top of the 9th. On the losing end of this matchup, the Guardians, who almost got shut out, would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Aaron Savali. Savali allowed 6 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 3 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and walked 1, and with this loss, he's 0-2. In the Guardians batting lineup, the only player who had more than 1 hit in this matchup was their second baseman, Andres Gimenez. He would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Yankees were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole, who picked up his first win of the 2022 season. Garrett Cole allowed no earned runs off of 4 hits as he pitched 6.2 innings. He would strike out 9 batters and walk 1 before he was pulled in the 7th inning. With this win, Garrett Cole is 1-0 on the season. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite third baseman, DJ LeMahieu, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his second home run of the season. Their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 5th home run of the season. Their elite second baseman, Gleyber Torres, would end up going 2 for 3 as well. With this win, the New York Yankees are 10-6. They are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for the best record in the American League East. They've won their last 3 games. Only the Minnesota Twins have won or have a longer active winning streak in the MLB right now. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. The Yankees sit alongside the Toronto Blue Jays at the top as they sit one whole game ahead of the third place Tampa Bay Rays, just to get a sense of how close it is. With this loss, the Cleveland Guardians are 7-8. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they've now lost their last 3 games. They've lost 6 of their last 10. They now sit half a game behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at the moment. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds were able to snap an 11-game losing streak at home after they beat the Cardinals 4-1. They would score 3 of their 4 runs in the first couple of innings of the game. On the losing end of this matchup, the St. Louis Cardinals were led out by their starting pitcher, Adam Wainwright. Wainwright allowed 4 earned runs off of 8 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and walked 3. With this loss, Adam Wainwright is 2-2. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their only other player who had more than 1 hit was their center fielder, Harrison Bader. He went 2 for 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Cincinnati Reds would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Nick Lodolo. Lodolo would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits and 5.2 innings pitched. He struck out 7 batters, and with this win, Nick Lodolo is 1-2 on the season. The save would go to the Reds closer, Lucas Sims. Lucas Sims would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, and this would be his very first save of the year. In the Reds batting lineup, their left fielder, Tommy Pham, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Also, their center fielder, Nick Senzel, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 3-13. That is the worst record in the National League Central, even though they have snapped an 11-game losing streak. Having won 1 of their last 10 games, they are sitting 7 games behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals. With this loss, the Cardinals are now 9-5. That is still the best record in the National League Central record-wise. They've lost 4 of their last 10, as they have 1 less win and 1 less loss than the Brewers. Sitting alongside the Brewers, they sit 2 games ahead of the third-place Pittsburgh Pirates within that playoff race, looking at how early it is. Taking a look at what happened in Houston, the reigning American League champs, Houston Astros, hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. And this game would end up going to extra innings, tied at 6. The Blue Jays scored the first run of extra innings, seeing Lourdes Gurriel score 1 off of a double. But it would be a 2-run walk-off home run from Jeremy Pena to win it for the Astros. On the losing end of this matchup, the Blue Jays would be led out by their starting pitcher, Yusei Kikuchi. He allowed 4 runs off of 3 hits in the 3.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 5 before he was pulled in the 4th inning. The loss would go to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano, as he picked up his first blown save of the year. He would allow 2 runs off of 1 hit, as he would pitch 0.1 innings, and he would strike out 1. With this loss, Jordan Romano is 0-1. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their catcher, Zach Collins, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the year. Their left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as Lourdes Gurriel would hit his first home run of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Houston Astros were led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Garcia. Garcia allowed 5 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 6 batters and then he went on to walk 1. The win would go to the Astros closer, Blake Taylor. Taylor would allow no earned runs as he finished off the 10th inning, and with this win, he's now 1-1. In the Astros batting lineup, their center fielder, Chas McCormick, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Michael Brantley, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the year. Their elite third baseman, Alex Bregman, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Their first baseman and the reigning American League hit batting champ, Yuli Gurriel, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs, their elite first baseman. And of course, with this win, the Houston Astros are now 7-8. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they now sit 2.5 games behind the division-leading Seattle Mariners. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are 10-6. They are tied with the New York Yankees for the best record in the American League East. They are tied with the Yankees and the Mariners for the best record in all of the American leagues. The Blue Jays have lost 4 of their last 10 games. Alongside the Yankees, they sit a full game ahead of the third-place Tampa Bay Rays in their division. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Chicago White Sox, and the Twins were able to seize full control of the AL Central after beating the White Sox 6-4 in extra innings. They went into extra innings tied at 3. The White Sox would see Yasmani Grandal hit a single to, of course, give them the lead. It would be a 3-run go-ahead walk-off home run from Byron Buxton to give the Minnesota Twins the win, and of course, congratulations to them. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago White Sox were led out by their starting pitcher Lucas Giolito. He allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He struck out 9 batters and walked 3. The loss would go to the White Sox elite closer Liam Hendriks. He would allow 3 runs off of 3 hits as he would pitch the entire 9th, and then he would not make it through the 10th. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 1 as he gave up the home run to as he gave up to Byron Buxton. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop Tim Anderson would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his second home run of the season. And then also the only other player on the White Sox with a multi-hit game was their infielder Danny Mendick, their third baseman, He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his first home run of the season for the White Sox. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Minnesota Twins were led out by their starting pitcher Chris Archer. Chris Archer would allow 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in the 3 innings he pitched. He struck out 2 batters and walked 3. The win would go to their closer, Joe Smith. Smith allowed 1 run off of 1 hit in the 10th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, Joe Smith is 1-0. In the Twins batting lineup, their center fielder Byron Buxton went 2 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. He went on to hit his 5th and 6th home runs of the season. Their right fielder Max Kepler went 2 for 3 with 2 walks. Their third baseman Gio Urshela would go 2 for 3 as well. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are 8-8. That is the best record in the American League Central as they've now won their last 4, and they've won, or I guess their 4-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in all of baseball right now. I will give them their credit. They've won 6 of their last 10 as well. They sit at the top of their division. They sit half a game ahead of the second place Cleveland Guardians. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are 6-9. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They're holding on to a 7-game losing streak. That is the longest active losing streak in all of the MLB. To get a sense of where they are, they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. They sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins, surprisingly, despite a 7-game losing streak. Taking a look at what happened in Chicago with the team that actually played there, the Cubs would end up hosting the Pirates. The Pirates ended up beating the Cubs 4-3. After the Cubs scored the first 2 runs of the game, the Pirates would score their 4 runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning. They took the lead in the 3rd inning off of a RBI double from Kevin Newman. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago Cubs would see the loss picked up by their starting pitcher Justin Steele. Justin Steele would allow 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 3 innings that he pitched. He struck out 2 batters and walked 4. With this loss, Justin Steele is 1-2 for the Chicago Cubs. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter, Rafael Ortega, would end up going 2 for 5 with a run. Their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, JT Brubaker. He allowed 2 runs off of 3 hits in the 3 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 2. The win for the Pirates would go to their first relief pitcher, Dylan Peters. He allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 2.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters before he was pulled in the 6th inning. With this win, he is now 3-3 on the season. 3-0 on the season. The save for the Pirates would go to their closer, David Bednar. Bednar would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 9th inning. He struck out 3 batters and even walked 1. With this save, he now has 2. In the Pirates batting lineup, their shortstop within this matchup, Kevin Newman, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are 8-8. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10. They sit 2 full games behind the St. Louis Cardinals, who are sitting at the very top of the division. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are 7-9. They've lost 7 of their last 10 as they hold the 4th best record in the Central. In the NL Central, they sit 3 games behind the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals. Jumping out to Anaheim, the LA Angels hosted the Baltimore Orioles. The Angels would end up beating the Orioles 7-6 after the Angels scored 6 runs in the in the first inning. Of course, the big play in the first was a grand slam from Jo Adell. The A's would somehow work their way up to tying the game in the seventh, but then it would be a Taylor Ward walk with the bases loaded that gave the Angels the win. And on the losing end of this matchup, the Baltimore Orioles would be led out by their starting pitcher, Chris Ellis. Chris Ellis allowed 5 earned runs off of 1 hit, and he would walk 3 batters as he did not register a single out in the first inning. The loss would go to the Orioles' third relief pitcher, Mike Baumann. Baumann would go on to allow 1 earned run off of 1 hit as he would strike out 1 batter. He would pitch the entire 6th, but then get pulled in the 7th, and with this loss, he is now 1-2. In the Orioles batting lineup, the Orioles would see their starting center fielder, Cedric Mullins, go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Angels would be led out by their starting pitcher, Jose Suarez. The win would end up going to the Angels' third relief pitcher on the day, Austin Warren. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits as he went on to finish the 7th inning. He picked up his first blown save of the year, but with this win, he's now 2-0. The save for the Angels would go to their closer, Archie Bradley. Bradley allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his first save of the year. In the Angels batting lineup, their elite designated hitter and reigning American League MVP, Shohei Ohtani, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their goated center fielder, Mike Trout, would go 2 for 4 with a run as well. And Jo Adell, his grand slam, would be his 3rd home run of the season. With this win, the LA Angels are 9-7. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've won 6 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the division-leading Seattle Mariners by a full game. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 6-10. That is the worst record in the American League East, and that is the 3rd worst record in the American League. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games as they trail the division-leading New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays by 4 full games. Taking a look at what happened in the Bay Area, in Oakland, the A's would host the Texas Rangers. The Athletics would beat the Rangers 2-0 as both of their runs would come off of a 2-run home run from Steven Piscotty in the 4th. On the losing end of this matchup, the shutout Texas Rangers would be led out by their starting pitcher, Garrett Richards. Richards would allow no earned runs off of 2 hits as he struck out a batter and walked 1 in 2 innings. The loss would go to the Rangers' first relief pitcher, Spencer Howard. Howard would allow 2 earned runs off of 2 hits as he pitched the 3rd and 4th inning. He would strike out 4 batters, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Marcus Semien, would be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Oakland Athletics would see none of their players finish with more than 1 hit, as Piscotty's home run would be his first of the season as he now has 3 RBIs on the year. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 9-8. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've won 5 of their last 10 games, and they now sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Seattle Mariners, but that is where they are sitting. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are 5-10. That is the worst record in the American League West. They've lost 6 of their last 10 as they now trail the division-leading Seattle Mariners by 4.5 games. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the NL East leading New York Mets. The Mets would end up beating the Diamondbacks 6-2. The score was tied at 1. The Diamondbacks would break the score as Starling Marte would steal third and then stealing home off of a throwing error, and they would run away with the lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Arizona Diamondbacks would see a start come from Madison Bumgarner, the former World Series hero. He did it for the Giants, by the way. He would allow 1 run off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched as he struck out 4 batters. The loss for the Diamondbacks would go to their first relief pitcher, J.B. Wendelken. He allowed 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 6th inning as he struck out a batter. With this loss, Wendelken is 0-1. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their shortstop, Nico Ahmed, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. The win on the winning side of this matchup, the Mets would see the win go to Tyler McGill, their starting pitcher. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6.2 innings he pitched. He struck out 7 batters and walked 1 before he was pulled in the 7th. With this win, Tyler McGill is 3-0. In the Mets batting lineup, their elite shortstop Francisco Lindor went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their designated hitter J.D. Davis went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he would go on to hit his first home run of the season. Their second baseman in this matchup, Luis Guillorme, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. With this win, the New York Mets are now 12-5. That is the best record in the National League East. Record-wise, it is the second best record in the entire MLB as the Dodgers have a better claim. The Mets have won 7 of their last 10 games. They sit 4 games ahead of the second place Miami Marlins in the division. And of course, with this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 6-10. That is the worst record in the National League West. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, and they trailed the division-leading LA Dodgers by 5.5 games at this point in the season. Speaking of the Dodgers went all the way to San Diego. I know, yeah, far trip. They went on to beat the Padres 10-2 after they were able to score 9 of their 10 runs from the 3rd through the 6th inning. They were able to get some serious middle inning action. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown San Diego Padres would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Sean Manaea. He allowed 7 runs off of 6 hits in 4.1 innings. He would strike out 5 batters and then walk 3. And with this loss, he's 2-2 as he was pulled in the 5th inning. The Padres batting lineup would see their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the LA Dodgers would see the win go to their goated starting pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters, and with this win, he's now 3-0. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their designated hitter, Justin Turner, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their elite first baseman and former National League MVP and in the reigning World Series champ, Freddie Freeman, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. Their elite starting center fielder, Cody Bellinger, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. And with this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 11-4. That is the best record in the National League West. In win percentage wise, it is the best record in all of baseball. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. In their division, they sit half a game ahead of the second place San Francisco Giants. As the Dodgers have the same amount of wins, they just have 1 less loss. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are 10-7. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've now lost 4 of their last 10 games, and they now sit 2 full games behind the division-leading LA Dodgers. But that is what that division is looking like there. Taking a look at what happened in Seattle, the Seattle Mariners were of course able to keep their lead on top of their division after they beat the Royals 5-4 in the 12th inning. This game would go into extra innings tied up at 3. In the top of the 10th, Andrew Benintendi single put the Royals up by 1, and then Jesse Winker sac fly in the bottom of the 10th evened it up at 4. Jesse Winker would come back in the 12th inning, and it would be a single for him that would lead to Adam Frazier scoring, giving them the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the Kansas City Royals would see the start go to Carlos Hernandez. Carlos Hernandez allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and then he would walk 2. The loss for the Royals would go to their closer, Joel Payamps. Payamps allowed 1 run as he would not register an out within the 12th inning. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Royals batting lineup, their lead designated hitter, Salvador Perez, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI. He was the only player on the Royals with a multi-hit game. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Seattle Mariners were led out by their elite starting pitcher, the reigning American League Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 1. The win would end up going to their closer, Yohan Ramirez, as he allowed no earned runs in the 12th inning. He would strike out 2 batters and even walk 2. With this win, Ramirez is 1-0. In the Mariners batting lineup, their first baseman, Ty France, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 5th home run of the season. Their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 10-6. That is the best record in the American League West. They are tied with the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays out east for the best record in the American League. The Mariners are holding a 3-game winning streak, and they've won 8 of their last 10. They sit 1 game ahead of the second place Los Angeles Angels at the moment. And then with this loss, the Kansas City Royals are 5-9. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They hold the second worst record in the American League. Only the Texas Rangers have a worse record. The Royals have now lost their last 4 games. That is the second longest active losing streak in the American League, behind the Chicago White Sox in their own division. The Royals have lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 2 full games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins. Last but not least, jumping out to Philadelphia, the Phillies would go on to host the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers would end up beating the Phillies 1-0 as their lone run came in the 9th inning off of a sac fly from former National League MVP Christian Yelich. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher Aaron Nola. Nola allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 9 batters as he would walk 1. The loss for the Phillies would end up going to their closer in this game, and their closer was Corey Knebel. Knebel allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 9th inning, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Phillies batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed. No one in this game would finish with more than 1 hit. That would be attributed to great pitching all around. On the winning end of this matchup, the Brewers were led out by their starting pitcher Eric Lauer. Lauer allowed no earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 13 batters and walk 1. The win would go to the Brewers' elite setup relief pitcher, Devin Williams. He would go on to allow no earned runs in the 8th inning as he struck out a batter and walked 1. This is his first win of the year. He is now 1-0 in 2022. The save would go to the Brewers' elite closer, Josh Hader. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This is his 8th save of the year. In the Brewers batting lineup, nobody on the team had more than 1 hit, but their elite designated hitter, Christian Yelich, went 0-3 with the game's lone RBI as he had 2 strikeouts on the day. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 10-6. That is the second best record in the National League Central win percentage-wise. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 3. They have 1 more win and 1 more loss than the Cardinals, which is why the Cardinals are temporarily ahead. Right now, both the Cardinals and the Brewers are sitting 2 games ahead of the third-place Pittsburgh Pirates in their division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are 6-10. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at the moment, but that's where the Phillies are sitting, and that is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. We are entering yet another week in baseball, as there are not going to be that many primetime games. Today's also going to be a travel day. Looking at what's going on first, at 6:10, an American Family Field in Milwaukee, Corbin Burns and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Sam Long and the San Francisco Giants. At 6:45, at Citizens Bank Park in Philly, Kyle Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Kyle Freeland in the Colorado Rockies. At 7:07 in Canada, Jose Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays, who are leading the American League East, are going to host Nathan Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox. At 7:45 in Busch Stadium, we're going to see a matchup between 2 teams at the top of their divisions, as the NL Central leading St. Louis Cardinals, led by Miles Mikolas, are going to be facing off against the NL East-led New York Mets, who have the most wins in baseball. They're going to be led by their goated starting pitcher, Max Scherzer. Scherzer enters this game with a 3-0 record, holding a 2.50 ERA. At 8:05 in Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers are going to host Framber Valdez and the reigning American League champs Houston Astros. At 9:38 in Angel Stadium, Michael Lorenzen and the Los Angeles Angels are going to host the Cleveland Guardians, led by their elite starting pitcher Shane Bieber. Bieber enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, holding a 2.25 ERA. Last but not least, at 9:40 in Chase Field in Phoenix, Merrill Kelly and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team with the best winning percentage in baseball, as they're going to be led out by their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler. But that is what sports are looking like in America at the moment. Taking a quick look at what's going on outside. Starting off in the Premier League, looking at how it finished off, the best team that played in England yesterday was Liverpool, as in the Merseyside derby. They would beat Everton 2-0, as both of their goals came in the second half. Their first goal will come from their elite defender, Andy Robertson, arguably the best left back in the world. And of course, their and of course their second goal will come from Divock Origi, their midfielder and forward. So of course, congratulations for Liverpool with this win. They are sitting 1 point behind Man City with 5 games left in their schedule. So that is what's going on with Liverpool. Looking at third place, Chelsea would end up beating West Ham United 1-0 off of a 90th minute goal from Captain America Christian Pulisic. They are currently sitting 14 points behind second place Liverpool with 1 game in hand. I'm not sure that's going to be likely that they're going to take over the second spot, but they are also sitting 5 points ahead of fourth place Arsenal with 1 less game played than Arsenal. So it looks as though Chelsea may comfortably slip into Champions League, but of course, at this point, they cannot be too careful. So far, it looks as though only Man City and Liverpool have clinched Champions League out of Premier League so far. Jumping to Spain, the only big game in Spain would see Barcelona lose 1-0 to Rayo Vallecano. With this loss, Barcelona is sitting even with Sevilla as Barcelona holds the advantage off of goal differential. But that is where they're sitting. They're sitting 15 points behind first place Real Madrid, which is kind of setting it up for Real Madrid to win La Liga as soon as they win their next game. Taking a look now at what is happening in France. The reigning French champs Lille were able to beat Strasbourg as their 87th minute goal will come from Celik. With this win, they are currently sitting 9th in France. They sit 1 point behind 8th place Lyonnais. As it looks as though even though after they won last year, they are it's very likely that they may not make Champions League within this next season at all, as right now they are about 14 points removed from there. So they have been eliminated from automatically making it. But that's really what's going on there. Taking a look at what happened in Italy, the top team that would be able to pull off a win was AC Milan as they were able to beat Lazio 2-1. First goal of this game came from Lazio's elite Italian striker Ciro Immobile with a 4th minute goal. AC Milan would see Olivier Giroud even up the game in the 50th minute. And then their game-winning goal was to go to Sandro Tonali off of an amazing juggle goal off of the assist from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. With this win, AC Milan is sitting at the top of Serie A with 1 more game played than Inter. They have taken the temporary lead as they sit only 2 points ahead. This puts all the pressure on Inter to win their next game if Inter wants to, of course, seize the top of the league. But, of course, very, very big win in terms of the Serie A title race for Italy. Looking at the third best team in Italy, a team that's trying to compete in Champions League next year, Napoli would end up losing to Empoli. After Napoli scored the first 2 goals of the game, Empoli would see 3 goals from the 80th minute on to see them come from behind as they would see a brace from Pinamonti. With this win, Empoli has the 14th best record in Italy, 2 points behind 13th place Bologna. And then, of course, with this loss, Napoli is sitting 5 points behind second place Inter. It's looking tougher and tougher that they might win, but they are still sitting 9 points ahead of 5th place Roma with about 4 games left in their schedule. With a win or 2, they should be able to clinch a Champions League spot. But that is what Italy is looking like. And then that is pretty much what I have for you in terms of big soccer as we navigate through that weekend. Taking a look at what's going on today, the big matchup is going to be in Italy as Sassuolo, who enters this matchup looking at Sassuolo, they enter as the 10th best record in Italy. They are going to host 4th place Juventus. With Napoli losing, this is an opportunity for Juventus to move up and possibly overtake Napoli. With 1 less game played, Juventus only sits 4 points behind Napoli. They wouldn't be able to leapfrog them, but a win here could bring them to within 1, which could be very important with 4 more games after this. So this is a big opportunity for Juventus to change their seeding, so at least they don't have to worry about getting knocked out. But that is everything that I have for you today, as today is Monday, April 25th. I will follow this up with an elite individual profile, as today I do have a birthday. But of course, with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I really do hope all is well. Once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Tuesday, April 26th for another episode. So until then, I want to thank everybody for listening to this piece. I want to thank the ESPN, the NBA, NHL, MLB, and FIFA websites for giving me all the facts. I just would not be able to do this. I apologize for butchering the names. I eventually do plan on getting them right. And I do want to wish Rafael Varane on Manchester United a happy 29th birthday, and I will do a profile for him following this. Thanks for listening. I do hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another piece after this. Thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite.